Located in the old medieval capital of the Mughal Empire, the Taj Mahal stands on the southern bank of the Yamuna River in the city of Agra in northern India. The large, 73-meter-tall, marble-cladded, gemstone-encrusted, and near-geometrically perfect mausoleum is likely the most widely known of all of India's historical landmarks to the outside world, and for good reason. It is an indisputable architectural masterpiece, seamlessly combining Persian, Indian, and Islamic stylistic elements, as well as a plethora of gems, precious stones, and other exotic materials from all over the world into one grand monument. But although the appearance of the Taj Mahal is quite heavenly, the inspiration to build it came from a moment of tragedy. In the summer of 1631, the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan and his favorite wife, Mumtaz Mahal, were preparing to welcome yet another child into the world after many, the 14th to be exact. But this time, things didn't go as planned. Shortly after giving birth to her newest daughter and child, who, by the way, lived to be 75, Mumtaz Mahal died having suffered from a postpartum hemorrhage. Prior to this, Mumtaz had been pregnant and given birth nearly every single year throughout her 19-year marriage to Shah Jahan, which undoubtedly took its toll on her physical health and possibly mental well-being as well, and of course was ultimately the reason for her untimely death at just 38 years old. This tragic event deeply affected Shah Jahan, and after an entire year spent mourning the death of his beloved Mumtaz, he commissioned the construction of the Taj Mahal to serve as the final resting place for his late wife and as an everlasting symbol of the love that they once shared with each other. And so, in 1632, Shah Jahan would begin patiently waiting for the construction of his grand mausoleum to be completed, which lasted 16 years and finally came to an end in 1648. The name Taj Mahal is Urdu for Crown Palace, a fitting title for a tomb made for someone with a name like Mumtaz Mahal, which was in fact the nickname given to her by Shah Jahan, meaning chosen or exalted one of the palace. And, as we'll see, Mumtaz's Crown Palace lives up to its name in more ways than one. First, as you step through the last gate separating the forecourt of the mausoleum from the rest of the palatial complex, you are overwhelmed by the sheer size of the monument, the gleam and shine of the white Makrana marble that covers the mausoleum and adjacent minarets from top to bottom. You also notice how it seems to absorb the colors of the sky above, almost as if it's interacting with its surrounding environment. It appears this way because this type of marble is especially good at reflecting the light hitting the surface of the mausoleum. But, as you get closer, you begin to see more subtle details, like the thousands of individual inscriptions of Arabic calligraphy, verses from the Quran made from inlaid black marble, that is, pieces of black marble that have been cut into particular shapes and placed into matching carved out spots in the surface of the white marble, a process known as pietradura, or parchinkari, as it's also known in the Indian subcontinent. Further, you'll see floral patterns and other designs also made from inlaid gemstones of multiple different colors and shades, including jasper, jade, amber, and lapis lazuli. The original construction of the Taj Mahal even incorporated other, more sought-after precious gems and materials such as gold, diamonds, and emeralds, imported from all around the world, including the Americas, Europe, Africa, and other parts of Asia. Then, once inside the mausoleum itself, you'll find even more intricately carved and inlaid decorations, as well as more arabesque inscriptions and calligraphy. But the main part of a mausoleum is of course the tomb, or in the case of the Taj Mahal, the tombs, as both Mumtaz Mahal and her husband Shah Jahan were buried within the Taj Mahal itself. Their tombs can be found in the middle of the central chamber of the Taj Mahal. The tomb that lies in the perfect middle of the room belongs to Mumtaz Mahal, and the larger tomb lying to the side of it belongs to Shah Jahan. You might notice that the placement of Shah Jahan's tomb to the side of Mumtaz Mahal's tomb ruins the symmetry of the chamber. This is because Shah Jahan didn't originally intend to have anyone else buried inside the Taj Mahal besides his late wife. But Shah Jahan outlived Mumtaz Mahal by more than 30 years, during the course of which many things changed within his empire. Most importantly, it stopped being his empire. Towards the end of his life, Shah Jahan lost control of the Mughal Empire to one of the very sons that he had had with Mumtaz, who in turn placed his father on house arrest in a nearby fortress, called simply the Agra Fort. Here, he would live out the rest of his days, nearly 10 whole years stuck inside one large complex. Then, when Shah Jahan finally did die, his son, Emperor Aurangzeb of the Mughal Empire, had his father's tomb placed in the Taj Mahal right beside Mumtaz, which, as mentioned before, broke the symmetry of the central chamber and indeed the rest of the mausoleum that Shah Jahan and his team had strived so hard to observe when working on the design of the Taj Mahal all those years ago. However, there's one final caveat to this story. The tombs seen in the central chamber aren't actually Mumtaz Mahal and Shah Jahan's real tombs. They're cenotaphs, empty tombs or monuments dedicated to the memory of someone who has died. Their real tombs with their actual remains lie in the crypt directly below the central chamber floor. And just like in the central chamber above, Mumtaz Mahal's tomb lies in the perfect middle of the crypt and is slightly smaller than the tomb of Shah Jahan, which again lies to the side. But there's much more to the Taj Mahal than just the royal crypt. In addition to serving as his wife's final resting place, Shah Jahan intended for the Taj Mahal and surrounding complex to be as close to a representation of the heavens as described in the Quran as possible. For instance, the structure of the mausoleum itself, as well as the center chamber inside that houses the cenotaphs, are both octagonal in shape, representing the 8 gateways through which people may enter into heaven according to the Quran. Another example are the 4 main ponds that run perpendicular to each other in front of the mausoleum, which are meant to represent the 4 types of rivers that may be found in heaven according to the Quran. These rivers might be flowing with fresh water, milk, honey, or a non-intoxicating wine or type of pure drink that cleanses whoever drinks it. And in between each of these ponds lie 4 sets of 4 gardens. The number 4 also happens to be a holy number in Islam. And while the mausoleum itself is of course the main attraction, 2 other symmetrical buildings stand on either side of it as well. These are the Mehman Khana, or guest house, to the east, and the Masjid, or simply mosque, to the west, which does not offer prayers since its facade faces east and not west towards Mecca. Both of these buildings were added to the Taj Mahal complex several years after the initial construction of the mausoleum was completed. Many people consider the Taj Mahal to be the zenith of Mughal architecture and design, and between the incredible size and scale of the building and the complex on which it's built, the massive variety of materials brought in from all corners of the world and incorporated into its design, the precise geometrical symmetry and religious symbolism built into every last part of the mausoleum and surrounding complex, as well as the very inspiration for its construction, it really is no wonder why.